I was born in the northern side of Burundi, in a place called Kirundo. The civil war broke out when I was, I think, 7 years old. I'm the youngest in my family. I was very close to my parents, my dad and my mom, and I have 3 sisters. Yeah, my siblings. I have 3 sisters, and the older brother. Unfortunately, my older brother is no more. He died alongside with my parents. That was in October 1993 when the first Hutu elected president he was assassinated in Burundi. I think you guys know about that. I was just a child who was in the family, an innocent one who did not know what was going on. And it was around, say, 3 in the afternoon, like this time. I saw people starting to cut trees, and I was like, what was going on? Cutting trees and making roadblocks, so people don't go. Then I heard people in the neighborhood saying they are trying to block the road so that the military or the soldiers cannot come and intervene. Just okay, what is going on here? And I started to see neighbors sharpening their machetes, and I had never seen any war. Like, as I was growing up, everyone was living in peace. So my parents said we need to leave the place where we were at, because we were living by the roadside, and they said we need to move to another location where other relatives of ours were living, so that it was a little bit in the bush. It was kind of a refuge for us. So we stayed there about 3 days, and on the 4th day, it was around 5 in the morning. That's when I heard people around the house, so many people surrounding the house. And in the house that we were in, there were about, let's say, 30 children, grown up, and everyone. The children would sleep in the living room, and the rest of the grown-up, like the adults, they will stay in their rooms. So, and around 4, my dad and my older sister, they had left the house to go and hide themselves in the swamp. Maybe, I don't know. They asked me to follow them, but I said, no, I cannot go. Let me stay with my mom. My mom she was kind of disabled. She could not walk properly, and it was still dark. So she said, I'm not going, let me just stay. And I said, okay, let me stay with my mom as well. I'm not going to leave her, because I was like the baby and so close to her. And so that was around 4. I did not want to leave the house, and then at 5, we heard people who had already surrounded the house, and these guys, they were the killers who had come to kill everyone. So when we heard this, there were just 3 of us, myself and 2 nieces. We were able just to open the, because it was kind of strange. We opened and looked around. We saw people, so many people surrounding the house with machetes, with spears, with arrows, and yeah, we felt in danger. I and the 2 nieces, we just ran out of the house, heading the swamp, like the mountain bushy area. I remember one guy, he shot an arrow and he just passed by. It was like in a movie. and it just passed by my ear. I saw it ahead of me as I was trying to run away from the house. So, and just went in the bushy area, remained there. We came back around 7, that's 2 hours later. And the other 2 nieces, they outran me, they continued to run. And when I reached the bush, my sister was hiding there. Then she saw me trying to find my way in the bush, and she said, "Come over, come, find me." Then I saw her where she was hiding. So when I saw her, we came back around 7 to the place where it was chaos. So many dead bodies, including my mom. They had cut her arms, her leg, and she was bleeding so badly. And she asked for a drink. She said, "Would you please give me water?" And I was like, this baby of 7, there's nothing I could do for her. And I was so heartbroken. It was, how can this happen to me? So stood there was no water that I could give to her, and she was dying, and so many people around who had died. My sister said, "We have to leave this place because the killers are going to come back and kill us." And she was older than me. I said, "Okay, let's go." And I left my mom bleeding, and there's nothing I could do for her really. And I went with my sister. We spent 3 days in the bush, the mountain area where we were. And as we would move around one side to another, we would find some of the relatives that we know, and even our friends from the same ethnic background. So, and we would stay together. And after 3 days, we really got hungry because we did not have anything to eat. So my sister and other relatives, they said, "Let's try and find people from a different ethnic background. Maybe they can give us some food. If they kill us, we're going to die. If God is merciful to us, we will be spared. We won't die." So we left the bush. Was around, let's say 6, 7 in the evening. We found one home of a person who of a different ethnic background. He said, "Okay, yeah, I'm going to give you food, but I'm sorry, I'm not going to allow you to stay in my house. Because if the people get to know, they will come and kill me and kill you and kill everyone." So he gave us food, and he said, "You have to go back and sleep in the bush." And then he said, "Tomorrow, around 4 in the morning, I will come back and find you and tell you which way you have to take so that you can escape the mountain area, because in a few days it's going to be burnt down, because they know that there are people hiding in the mountain, so they're going to burn it. The one who's not to come out, he will die in there, and the one who comes out, he will be killed." So went back, slept in the bush again, and my sister and another relative just said, "I think it's a trick that he made to us. Maybe he's trying to lead us to the way to the killers. If we wait for him," he came and he told us the way to take. Yeah, and then my sister and another relative, after we have gone few minutes in the bush, they said, "No, let's use a different way. Maybe it's a trick." We were so scared, we did not know what to do. It was my sister, the other relative. She was a grown-up lady with a baby in her back. In total, we were about 5 children, of 4, 5, up to 7, something like that. They were holding like this in the arms. We did not know how to run away. So we used our own way. After we walked about 45 minutes, we got into an ambush. We saw young people, about 20, 25. I think there were about 3 of them, if I remember correctly. And we knew them. They were people from the different ethnic background. When they saw us, they ran into the house, and we knew these guys are running to get machetes and come and kill us. So we ran very quickly, and we were babies, we could not run. My sister and the other relative, like each of them would grab 2 children, try to drag us along. So we ran, let's say about 20 minutes, and we could see them coming running with machetes behind us. And like 100 meters away, 70 meters away, and we were heading towards, there was priests, Roman Catholic priests, like Roman Catholic parish. We were heading there, and so many people of our tribe were running towards that area. So we ran there, and fortunately, God saved us. We were able to reach the parish before the guys got onto us. It was just a few minutes away. Look back and could see them running, and we were trying to run for our lives. So yeah, we got into the parish area. There was a gate, and they closed it, so the guys did not come to the place where we were. So we stayed there for about 3 months, and like refugee camp. There's many people were who of same ethnic background were. After 3 months, my sister had finished her secondary school. She was living here in Bujumbura. So she tried to inquire. She heard that my parents had passed away, and the firstborn of the family, who was a boy, had already died as well. She managed. She looked for ways to get us into Bujumbura in here. So we came and lived with her. So when I got here, things were really worse. Like killings were going on around the country. The place where I were, it was like any person, like Bujumbura was kind of divided into Hutu and Tutsi. Like Musaga is like Tutsi area, Kamenge is a Hutu area. Those are different parts of Bujumbura, the capital city. So any person who would move, suppose a Hutu would land here in Musaga, he would be killed straight away. And I was in a place called Jabe, so on the other side, that was like Tutsi area. I'm Tutsi. So, and I would see Hutus landing in our area, being captured and being burnt alive, And it was like, how can you do that to any human being? So I grew up with bitterness and forgiveness in my heart. So, like, totally broken as a young boy. So I would always think, when will I grow up and join the army and find the person who killed my mom? Because the guy who tried to shoot me, I saw him, and I remembered his face. And I always thought that's the guy who killed my mom. Now, there were many of them, but his face remained in my mind. And there was rumors going around in the village where I'm from. They said, oh, so-and-so is the one who killed your mom. And I grew up with bitterness, anger, and yeah. So we continued to live in Bujumbura, and few years later, like life came onto normal. Like school started, like the war kind of slowed down, and I was able to go into a boarding school in Bujumbura. Did my first year, my second year, and my third year of secondary school. But remember, I had this bitterness in my heart. I would go and sit in a lonely place and always reflect everything that I had seen in the world. Seeing this person trying to shoot me, seeing this person who would burn his friend, and I was so hopeless and so like my mind was not straight. And one thing I remember during those years, I had big revenge in my heart. Like if you do anything for me, I would keep quiet, and then I would look for ways to pay you back, whether straps you or just do any violent activity and show you that you did the harm to me. And that was because of what I had seen in the civil, how people are violent towards one another. And there was this lady whom we were studying together in my third year of secondary school. She did not tell me much about Jesus, but she just made me a friend. During break, she would come and, hey, how are you? Did you sleep well? Okay, then she would go. Because she had noticed how quiet I am, how lonely I am, and, just on my own there. And slowly, she kept coming and made me a friend. And she started to invite me to her church. And her church was Good Shepherd Church. And it's an evangelical church, one of the big churches in Bujumbura, which has helped many young people come to the Lord. So she would invite me, and, oh no, I'm a Christian, don't try to tell me these stories of being saved. I'm already saved. But deep down I knew that I was really broken. So she kept insisting. And one day she told me there is a French pastor coming from France to come and preach, to our church. So I just responded to her invitation, going to look at this French pastor, this Muzungu. Yeah. So the guy started to preach. He preached on John 15, the vine and the branches. How you cannot have life in you without being connected to the branch. To the vine, as the branch cannot bear fruit or cannot have life in it without being connected to the vine. That's the way, as human beings, we cannot have life in us without being connected to Jesus.
Without me, you can do nothing.
Yeah, without Jesus, we cannot do anything. And he gave us the illustrations of, the way you play TV or radio. It cannot play on its own without having a power source. Mm-hmm. So he kind of tried to say that Jesus is the power source. He's the one who gives us the power to live, to have joy, to have hope, and, do great things. So I listened and I said, this boy is not connected to Jesus. He does not have joy in him. And he has bitterness, he has unforgiveness, and that's me talking to myself. And afterwards, he made an altar call. I did not know how I found myself in front. And he prayed for us, and the people who had gone in front, I was one of them. Just that very moment, I started to feel joy in my heart. And I always say, if anything happens to me, I backslide, or, any hardship that I can go through in this life journey, I will never I will never deny or forget the peace that I felt in my heart during that day. So, and that kind of, it keeps me going during hardship in the Christian life. Whenever I face challenges and stuff, I remember there is one day when I had joy in my heart and I did not have joy. During that day when I received Jesus, I had joy. I felt instant transformation in my heart.